on.
And now it's time for Michael Scott. Unleashed.
I am really tickled to have with us Mayor Jean Stothert, third-term Mayor Jean Stothert. You're the first, third-term mayor?
I am the first mayor in the history of Omaha that has served 3 consecutive
This
terms.
a little bit closer to the mic there, so we get. Yep.
You getting her okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm just not hearing it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, that's my fault.
My helper over here, the lovely Carol Merrill. And see, all 3 of us know who Carol Merrill is.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal. So you were saying you're the only?
I'm the only mayor in the history of Omaha. I'm number 51, 51st mayor.
Mhm.
There's been 50 men before me. I'm the first woman, and I'm the first that has served 3 consecutive terms.
Now you mentioned you're the first third-term mayor. Are you being the first fourth-term mayor?
You know what? Honest to gosh, I have not made up my mind. You know this. I love my job. I love what I'm doing, and I love what I see happening in Omaha. I never thought I'd run for a 3rd term, and I did. Frankly, I never thought I'd run for mayor, and I did. And so I just kind of, I'm only 2 years in now of a 4-year term, and I'm just going to kind of wait to see how this year goes. The reason I ran for the 3rd term is I am involved in so many projects that I started. I wanted to see them to the end.
Now, let me give you my theory on this, okay?
Okay.
In that the old Jean Stothert, if Mike McDonald was going to run, the old Jean Stothert would say, oh, hell yeah, I'm in, okay? The new Jean Stothert, recently married, a little bit different, mindset.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you're still going to run if McDonald runs. I'm not sure about afterwards.
You know what? I have run, obviously, 3 times. I have heard Mike McDonald was going to run against me 3 times. If he wants to run for mayor, then do it. You know what? If I run again, I will have an opponent. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Mike McDonald. I don't care who it is. I don't pay too much attention to that. I just got to get out what I want to do for the city. So if he wants to run, I say go ahead and run, for gosh sakes.
So what? Okay, so you say projects you had started that you wanted to finish.
Yeah.
Such as,
well, Crossroads for one.
Oh, yes.
That had been working on for years, and we got that rolling. I want to see the civic site be developed, which we're going to start on that this summer, which I demoed several years ago, not personally. I had it done. I want to see the parks downtown that we started. That's Jean Leahy Mall opened last July 1st. And now Heartland of America Park and Lewis and Clark Landing will open on August 18th. I want to see all that done. I want to see the Mutual of Omaha building come out of the ground and be the new skyscraper downtown. I worked on Heartwood Preserve, which is at 144th and Dodge, which is growing and filling in like crazy right now. So that's just a few. We just did the ribbon cutting the other day for the Brick Line, which is down in the Mercantile project.
I saw you down there.
The ConAgra project, and that's only phase 1. We already opened up the museum on the waterfront. The Steel House is open now, but all these projects were kind of underway when I ran for the 3rd term. So I wanted to make sure I could see them till the end.
I'm jealous because I had lunch with one of the young people over at KETV who are on the air. And I said, I wish I could be doing what you're doing now. Watching this town is about to explode. And it's been interesting because I got here in 82. Mike Boyle was in office. And I left in 93, came back, left and came back. And I'm watching these giant development projects underway. And I talked to friends who used to live here 35 years ago. And I said, you wouldn't be able to get around this place anymore.
Right.
It has changed so much.
It has.
I drive around town and I'll say, now what used to be there?
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, Omaha, though, where every road is either under construction or needs to be, right?
Well, I'd say you're right on that one.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we have 5,000 lane miles of road and they need a lot of work, but we passed a $200 million bond issue in May of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. And that's what we're using to fix the roads. I get complaints all the time to fix the roads. I get complaints all the time. There's too many road projects in cone zones. So, it's going to be both. You can't do away with having some minor inconvenience for a while when you're doing these major road projects. But the big things like you were mentioning, and I mentioned earlier, I moved here about 30 years ago. And when I think of what was not there then, I mean, the Arena Convention Center, the ballpark, the Bob Carey Bridge, all that development on the riverfront, Gallup, none of that was there. And when you think over 30 years, all this has happened downtown. And now we're building a new skyscraper downtown. Mutual is.
I'm so excited.
We are putting in a streetcar. So there's so much going on downtown, and I really like what I'm seeing. But we are all about urban growth and suburban growth too. So it's more urban infill and suburban growth. So we have to take care of both.
Let's start. I put out a request. If anyone had any questions,
Sure.
please send them to me.
Sure.
And I'm hearing a lot from folks in the community
Yeah.
saying, why aren't we seeing development on 24th Street North as we're seeing in South 24th Street?
Well, good question, but we will, and we are. What I was going to say is when I ran for the second time, I remember one philanthropist in town, very well-known businessman, told me, he said, I don't think you, Jean Stothert, have any vision for Omaha and downtown Omaha. And I'm like, oh, I have vision. And I'll tell you what I want to do, but this takes a long time. These things take a long time. And now we're seeing everything happen, especially downtown Omaha. North 24th Street you are going to see a major redevelopment happening there. The interest has always been there. It's an area of higher poverty. And so there's different challenges, not more challenges, but I'd say different challenges. But North 24th Street is going to have a huge transformation. First of all, they have a BID. We have 7 BIDs right now in Omaha. They have a new 24th Street BID. Lavanya
For people
Goodwin
listening, what is a BID? For people listening, what does that mean?
Business Improvement District.
Okay.
And Lavanya Goodwin is basically, the one that's in charge of that, or the chair of it. She is doing a fantastic job. I have never seen any of our other BIDs get so much done in a short period of time. They are into this. And that area around 24th and Lake, you are going to see a huge transformation. A good example is Carmen Tapio. If
On
you know
24th
her,
and Lake, yes.
right on 24th and Lake, she is going to move her headquarters there. She is building single family homes there.
She's telemarketing, isn't that it?
She's telemarketing.
Yeah.
She's going to be building a mixed use development there with stores and retail. Her development is estimated to be around $65 to $80 million spent right there on 24th and Lake. So there is a lot going on. More North Omaha, not just 24th and Lake. Obviously, we have this the 75 North project.
Yes.
It's a big mixed use project. A lot of private dollars went into that. Now we are adding to that, and we're doing Kennedy Square, where the other projects were in the past. There is millions and millions of dollars going into North Omaha now, and I think it takes a while.
But you know what?
But over time, you're going to see it, and you're going to see it now. The Old Loves Jazz Museum, for example, is now, I got to look. Dana Murray is doing it. The North Omaha Music. Yeah, it's a museum now. And what he's doing is having lessons for kids, music lessons, after school programs. There is a great transformation going on because in the early years, North 24th Street, this, and I know this, it was busy and prosperous. It was rich in traditions and heritage. And these investments that I see going on now is going to bring life back to that.
In 13 years ago when I came back this last time, I met with Dick Davis Sr.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to pitch him something. We started talking about vision.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at that time involved with the stadium going up.
Right.
And I said, 24th Street, though, what about 24th Street?
Mm-hmm.
How about we run a trolley car down there, and people who are going to the stadium can park their cars at one end and they get on the trolley car and they can stop off at businesses along the way.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some way of getting people attracted. And you talked about the money and the infusion, but since 82, I always keep hearing about money coming to North Omaha. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And it seems like it doesn't go anywhere. And not just your regime, all the way back to 80s, 90s, and whatever. We're definitely going to see something happen here.
The investments are being made. And so, yes, I mean, even like the Fair Deal Cafe, it has new ownership now.
Yes, the Johnsons.
It's not without its challenges up there because they're in North Omaha, Northeast, because it definitely does have a higher poverty rate. But they are the money that is going into that area. A good example is with the North Street BID. There is a project and it's landscaping and it's a lot of different street repair, sidewalk repair. The city is putting in 1.2 million and that BID, and they receive 7 million from the federal government, from Don Bacon. He basically arranged for that and worked on that. 7 million from the feds going into that area up there. I mean, that is real money. 7 million federal dollars, 1.2 million from the city. And this is going into revitalizing North 24th Street in North Omaha.
Mayor,
That's a lot of money.
you mentioned the downtown redevelopment. And
Yeah.
yet, and it's exciting. You take a look at the parks and everything going on down there. It's some exciting stuff. But about what 2-3 weeks ago or so, an article in the Wall Street Journal, I don't know if you saw it, about how Wall Street is not investing in downtowns anymore because more people are working from home. Office space is going unleased. Are you concerned about that? Are you concerned about we're putting all this effort into downtown and maybe the future is not going to be a downtown development?
Not at all, because the one thing I really looked at is we want to bring more businesses to Omaha, and we want to bring more young professionals into North Omaha or Midtown and downtown urban core. And what do they want? What do these young professionals want that would be attracted to come here? Because one of our challenges, it's a double-edged sword, is our unemployment rate is so low. So when we are trying to recruit businesses here, they're like, well, I can't find employees here. So we're trying to say, what do we need to get those employees here, to get those young professionals here? They like walkability. They like urban living. They like affordable housing. They like public spaces. They like
marijuana.
Public transportation. I'm not going to go there. But
that is part of it, isn't it? I mean,
but we're not going to be growing marijuana downtown, but we're doing all those other things now to attract them down to the urban core. But like I said a minute ago, it's urban infill and suburban growth. We're working on both of it. That's what makes a strong city.
Well, when I used to work with Omaha 360, the thing that was always the concern was corporations were getting black candidates here, and once they were here, they couldn't find a lifestyle to get into. They didn't know where to go get your hair done, where to go to get it closed, where's a place, a good bar to go hang out in. And a lot of times they'd leave. So it's very hard to get them here and then to keep them here.
Right. You got to look at what they want, what they're looking for.
And I can tell you, I live downtown and I'm amazed by all the places that are being turned into apartment buildings in anticipation of what's coming with Mutual of Omaha. And I try to explain to people, they're all coming down here and we got to take care of them here.
And those apartments, I will tell you, I get this asked all the time. Who's going to live in these things? Who's going to live in all these apartments, new and rehabbed? They fill up as soon as they are open. I mean, the new Mercantile, the brick line down there, they already are filling up.
I know, even before they're finished.
Right.
They're already at Cosgrove. I was looking at on
They
Leavenworth.
really want that downtown urban living. A lot of young professionals do. Now, for people working from home is another thing. I think it's kind of, it's turned during the pandemic, a lot of people working home. Now I think it's going back the other way because people don't like that isolation and that lack of being around people and socialization. So obviously we keep that in mind. Obviously Mutual of Omaha has kept that in mind while they're building a $600 million tower down.
Yeah, obviously. Now, this brings up an interesting point, though. I mean, because you talk about the redevelopment in North Omaha and you talk about the brick line and everything. What about affordable housing? Okay, because I mean the brick line ain't cheap,
right?
And those new buildings in North Omaha are going to be, where are the people that are just barely scraping by,
paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah, where do they go?
And that's another thing we've been working on for quite a while. When we received the ARPA money from the federal government, the American Recovery Act money, we received about $112 million. The city did. We put $20 million into affordable housing. We got a private match to go into affordable housing. That's 40, and then applied for another grant through HUD for another 20. So right now, 60 million we have dedicated to building more affordable housing in the city of Omaha. The Civic Auditorium site that we demoed years ago, and it's been sitting ready to go. It's going to start moving this summer. The development is White Lotus on that. They're actually going to make it more usable, I think, because it's a 4-block square area, but they're going to put roads in between, north, south, east, west again. Affordable housing will go into there as well as market rate. You don't want to put you want it mixed, you don't want just all affordable. You don't want low income. You want it mixed. So there's going to be market rate apartments and there's going to be affordable housing in that development too. So the one thing that I think is keeping some of the developers from building more affordable housing is if we could figure out some other incentives that we could give them to make it more attractive to the developers to build more affordable housing.
But this isn't an Omaha problem.
No.
This is going on nationwide.
Right.
We can't find affordable housing. So if you came up with a solution, you'd be a genius.
Well, yeah, well, I think, like I said, it's just got to be, we got to make it more attractive for the developers to build affordable housing, but the need is there and we recognize that. Right now, like I said, we're working with 60 million additional dollars that we didn't have before to build and primarily affordable housing. So people are looking for mixed income type housing. You want market rate. You don't want all luxury. You don't want all market rate. You want everything in between, because, you know, if you use the HUD definition, there's subsidized, there's low income, there's market rate, there's then there's luxury. And we've got to address all of them.
What about the NIMBY thing, though? I mean, you talk about that, and I'm just thinking, if I've got, you know, very nice condo, do I want somebody, you know, with a $600 a month apartment next door to me? You know, I mean, if I'm spending $500,000 for a condo, do I want that $600 apartment next door to me? I mean, so how do you get that mixture in there with, you know, with everybody, you know, getting along?
I'm living that nightmare. I live in a building downtown, and when I moved in, I was told there was no Section 8, and now it's being taken over by Section 8, and it has gone down in services.
I think it has a lot to do with, number one, the design of the building, and I think it has to do also with the management of that building.
Yes.
Your landlord is. For instance, on the civic site, one end, more the north end, very much closer to Creighton, where the students will be, it's more affordable housing, where maybe on the south end, you're going to see more market rate. So it just depends on your landlord, how the building is managed, and it also depends on how it's designed. And I think that makes a difference. But we need a mix of all of it, is my point.
Well, change the topic of
No, don't change until we set this. North Omaha, it needs housing, but it needs sidewalks.
Well, you
that's
know,
the biggest complaint. There are no sidewalks.
And that's part of what the city can do with these projects. Like when I mentioned the North 24th Street BID, the Business Improvement District, the city is putting in about 1.2 million, and that is for infrastructure. That's what we can do. You know, we can use tax dollars on a development up there to do the infrastructure, the streets, the sidewalks, the curbs. Those are the things that we can do.
Yeah, I see a major project going on 16th Street heading up north.
There's lots going on. I mean, and we are getting calls every day for more projects that people are interested in doing. But like I said, those apartments downtown, those fill up as fast as we can build them, or developers can build them.
You know, you want to say something?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with City Council right now.
Okay.
We have a city councilman that's currently cooling his heels.
Yes, he certainly is.
Okay, now obviously he's a Democrat, you're a Republican, so there's probably some Schadenfreude involved in that a little bit. But did you ever get any indication beforehand that any of this was going on? I mean, when you dealt with, you had to deal with them. You know, did you ever get any indication that maybe some things weren't on the up and up?
Well, yes, and you know, I knew about this FBI investigation, and I could say that now, but it's still ongoing. It's not done yet.
Well, they have to tell you if they're doing an investigation. in your
But
town.
it started this time last year. The first I heard about it was during the World Series last year. And it's just like investigations always go. It starts with one or two people, and then it just spiraled. And I mean, I was interviewed by the FBI several times. I was being updated all the time what was going on, but it just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And I knew about it. I knew those involved. I'll tell you, others are involved. There probably will be more indictments, but I can't say anything about that. But I knew the city councilman was involved in this. I knew the others were involved, and I knew when things were going to happen too.
Well, you know, I know that when Ben Gray was in office, you two worked well together.
We did. We never agreed on hardly anything, but you know, we just had this friendship that we might disagree on things, but I mean, we didn't argue with each other. We just said, I feel differently, Ben, and he would say, well, I feel differently, but we were very good friends, and we still are.
Well, you know, the reason I brought up Ben is because last year at this time, Ben and I were working for Nebraska Sunrise News, and Ben and Sunrise News was the first to break this story about the scandal. And everybody attacked us going, this is a political hit job.
Yeah.
And Ben's going, no, there's more to it that you guys aren't hearing. We can't tell you right now. So,
it was not a political hit job at all. It disgusts me when I know everything that has happened. But you know, the bottom line, the PACE program and the LPOA program, very good. The concept is excellent. but these criminals were stealing money from them, and they were skimming about 80% off the top and keeping it for
That's
themselves.
sad.
Allegedly. We but
Allegedly.
Yeah, don't get in trouble here. Allegedly.
Well, allegedly,
Yes.
but I sure know a lot.
I'm sure you do.
You know,
I'm sure you do. You talk about PACE.
yes,
You've held back the funding for PACE.
yes, I certainly did.
Okay. Now that you know what you know, are you still going to hold back the funding, or can PACE start seeing some of this money come to them?
You
With
know,
new people in charge.
we met with the existing PACE board the other day, and the police chief was with me, and we said we do support the concept of PACE. We want to uplift it when it is time, but there's going to have to be a lot of changes before they will get any city money again. You know, we gave them ARPA money too. They got about 360 million of ARPA, no, thousand. I'm sorry. I know.
Your deputy over here went.
We're talking millions all the time. They got about 360.
I'd be skipping on the top of that.
I know
that kind of money going around. Yeah.
They got 360,000
Mhm.
of ARPA money pasted.
Mhm.
They were getting two tranches, one July 1st, $180,000 last year. One's supposed to be July 1st this year. When we found out all this was happening, I asked them to show us what they spent the money on, the first tranche of 180, and then send everything else back that they hadn't used. They sent six. They said that they spent 120. They sent 60 back. But I am not going to give them any city tax dollars until this investigation is done, and it's not done.
Any indication how long it'll take?
No. I mean, you're dealing with the FBI. You know, like I
It could
said,
take years.
I first knew about this a year ago, and it really took almost a year to make the 4 arrests that they did make. PACE is a great program. I feel really bad for the kids that were involved in it because they enjoyed the program and did a lot of good. But there are certain things that they must do before we will give city money again. And there's got to be they got a clean house.
Yeah, I was shocked when I heard it because I grew up in New York with the Police Athletic League,
Mhm.
and it was an important part of the community.
Absolutely, it is. And so many kids were served. So we want it to be successful, but they're going to have to clean house and do a lot of things. So like I said, we did meet with the board the other day, the
Mhm.
chairman of the board, 2 other members came in and talked to them and basically said, here's what we need to move forward.
Some of the people that were indicted in this were involved with the police department.
Yes,
You
they
say
were.
more. You say more indictments are coming.
Yes.
Do you anticipate them coming from the police department, elected officials, PACE? Where's the investigation going?
Yeah, I can't say.
I know you wouldn't say,
Yeah.
but I had to ask.
I know.
Have we kept
That's fair.
Have we kept track of who's decided to leave town real quickly?
Uh-huh.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How about we give you a little bit of a break and
Sure.
we'll come back with some more questions? Okay?
Absolutely.
Terrific. We'll be right back. We are back with Mayor Jean Stothert and also my guest host, Tom Mad Dog Becka. Before we go on, congratulations. College World Series.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
It was
Those last two days of games. Oh, man.
Weren't they amazing?
Also, we broke records here.
We broke attendance records. We did. And, last year when we came out of COVID and we had the series, we broke all attendance records. This year we broke last year. So we broke all attendance records. And as you know, some teams travel better than others. But with LSU in there till the end, I've been
it's
there.
It's a party, baby.
I know it. Well, they went for 10 days with only Friday off was the only day. I was down there every day. I went to a game every single day. I usually do one game a day. Last Monday I did 2 games. But just to go down there and see this crowd and how excited they were. No rainouts. Although,
can you believe it? This is the first year that I've known that it has not rained.
Yeah,
we need the rain.
I know it.
Well, according to the young lady, the meteorologist this morning said we've got like 5 days of rain coming. Can you believe it was planned any better than that?
Yeah, really.
Well, you know what worries me about that, but I'm going to be positive, is our big Memorial Park Celebrate America concert is this Friday. And it's supposed to, rain. And we need the rain, but like you said, I hope it doesn't for the concert.
I drove by there today. As a matter of fact, they're already putting up they're getting it ready.
Oh, yeah, we're getting ready for that.
You know what? You shouldn't have mentioned that because that was one of my beefs. This concert, Herman Hermits.
Well, it's Herman's Hermits starring Peter Noon. That's
so it's
how they want
Peter
to be
Noon,
addressed.
yes.
Yeah, and who's the female?
Melissa Etheridge.
Melissa Etheridge. I tell you, I don't remember any kids from North Omaha or South Omaha humming tunes from these people.
Well, they try to do a variety of people.
Well, you had Earth? Didn't you have Earth, Wind, and Fire a few years ago?
Wycliffe Jean was there last year. I think it was the last year before.
Wycliffe Jean was there, and we had. Let me stop and think.
Cool and the Gang have been there. I know Cool and the Gang
was a few years ago.
That was before we were doing this type of a concert. But we've had some good performers. Stevie Van Zandt was there. Chris Isaac has been there.
Just because you don't like him doesn't mean that.
I couldn't tell you a Chris Isaac song if you had a gun to my head.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, I don't. I know who he is.
Yeah.
He could walk in here, but I wouldn't know him immediately. And someone said, "That's Chris Isaac."
But
that's because all white guys are going to like to you. But that's, that's a whole different issue. I mean, look, the fact is, as you well know, being mayor, and I know from the years of doing talk radio, that you're never going to please everybody. I mean, I could say
try to do a variety.
Yeah.
But people just they like the atmosphere to come. Sit on a blanket, listen to music. What they do now is they play music all day long from local bands. They have a couple videos before the show actually starts of local bands. They try to do just a variety, but we don't get the talent. Vic Gutman Associates, they're the ones that get
so I need to talk to Vic Gutman?
And they vote, they vote, but they work on getting the contract with the talent. So I have nothing to do with the talent. I will tell you, this year I was told they had somebody all booked and they canceled that kind of the last
minute.
Out, and so that happens, but I'm not in that business, so I really don't know. But they try to get a real variety, and so I've had a crush on Peter Frampton since I was in high school.
Let it go. You've been talking about that forever.
Is Peter Frampton coming?
I want Peter Frampton to come, but I'm sure he wants to see me too.
He's actually started. He actually started touring again after he had said he wasn't going to tour because of a health issue.
But now he's touring. He was having trouble playing the guitar, but here he's touring again. So we'll just have to wait and see if maybe we'll get him next year.
I sent the mayor a picture when first time she talked about her crush on Peter Frampton. I sent her a picture of Peter Frampton today, like bald and no hair. Yeah, and she got upset with me for that.
He still looks good, and he still sings.
Peter Frampton has no hair now.
Yeah,
I know who Peter Frampton is.
No, he doesn't have hair, but he still sings really good.
Hey, you know what? Talking about looks.
Yes.
When Obama finished his second term, and he was finished, and they looked at him and said, "God, how is he aged so hard in this
All
role?"
Presidents do. I hope the mayors don't do that too.
You know what? And that's where I'm going with it. You and I are class of 72.
Yeah.
You look fabulous. And you don't look like you're weathered or anything. I mean, it's a tough job. Well, and you only get paid $74,000 a year?
Yeah, 110.
Oh, it's 110 now?
I get paid 110, yeah.
Okay, because I said to him, it should be at least 6 figures.
Well, I do have gray hair, but I color it.
Yeah, me too. I did mine this morning because I knew you were coming.
I got to admit, but I mean, I like what I do, so it's busy, but I don't feel terribly stressed out about it. But I lift weights twice a week. I've been doing that for years. I walk on my treadmill almost every day. If I'm not doing that, I try to keep myself in good
Well,
shape.
I lift about 200 pounds every day myself.
But I mean,
I just get out of bed.
Getting out of bed.
A rim shot. There's been talk about you being out of town a lot. How often are you out of town? How often is Pete Festerson the acting mayor?
You know what? They don't even keep really track of, or they don't care how much Pete Festerson seems to be out of town. But that was so misleading and blown out of proportion. This one young reporter at one of our local TV stations decided to do this big story, and it made it look terrible for me. But here's the deal. When I am mayor 24/7, 7 days a week, I don't get Christmas off, nights off, holidays off, nothing. I'm always working, always working. And, my husband died. And I took some time off. I'm sorry if that really bothered people that much, but I had to.
Sure.
And I had to spend some time with my family. And I did go back to St. Louis to see my mom and my family a couple times, but I still was in contact with the city. There wasn't one thing that Pete Festerson, as acting mayor, could say he did while I was gone, that they needed the mayor here. And I really don't understand. And now I still get people saying on social media, oh, are you in St. Louis this weekend? How's it in St. Louis? I went to St. Louis twice last year. I've been to St. Louis twice this year to see my 95-year-old mom who's in assisted living. Twice last year, twice this year. So they've just totally blown it out of proportion. They said they heard I lived in St. Louis. I had a house in St. Louis. I haven't lived in St. Louis since 1980, for crying out loud. So it was a misleading, misaccurate story that I think a young reporter was trying to get some mileage off of.
Madam Mayor, let me ask you this. Do you think you would have gotten that kind of scrutiny if you'd been a male?
I don't, because you know why? And I also think it's a bit sexist, because one of the things they criticize me on is going on a sister city trip to Italy. Mayor Suttle.
You were doing business.
Mayor
you were doing
Fahey,
the city's business. Yeah.
Yes, they went to sister city visits all the time. They were doing business. I went on a sister city trip. I was on vacation. That's how they looked at it. And that is not fair.
Although
I
do recall Republicans going after Mike Fahey for being gone an awful lot back in the day. Yeah.
He was gone a lot, and he had another home or condominium or something in the Ozarks, and he was gone a lot. Remember, they used to call Paul Landau the other mayor.
Yeah.
Because he was gone a lot, but they didn't do a big news show on it, talking about with calendars how many days that he was out of town, but they did do it to me. And so, those, like I said, I work all weekends. I work all nights.
And that's also while selling Avon products.
That's what, yeah. That came out on Wikipedia. Yeah, I sold Avon products or something.
Yeah, your Wikipedia page
Good
said
Lord.
that.
And what social media does anymore, it's really disheartening. Carrie Murphy is my deputy chief of staff. We use everything we possibly can to keep people informed. We have a web page. We use social media, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. But what has happened to social media, I could put one post about something good. For example, we put a post up the other day about Tranquility, that we're redoing Tranquility Park. About 4,500 kids or 45,000 kids in Omaha play some sort of sports. This is going to be great for kids all over. We, within about 2 days, had over 450 comments on that Tranquility post. Most of them negative. Let's
talk about Tranquility.
And that is really disheartening to me, because you're really trying to do something good for the greater good. And you get a lot of people on social media that'll just take it apart.
You know what? James Martin Davis, the attorney, the late attorney, was mine. And I once said to him, he had said, I heard something about you. And I counted it. And he says, oh, then that couldn't be true. And I go, this town will gossip itself to death. Someone once said that. And he goes, I said that on 60 Minutes when the whole, Franklin credit scandal happened. And we got national coverage. So it's not even social media. Sometimes people just say negative things to be mean.
And then it grows and it grows and it grows. And it's really, really disheartening to me to hear that. But this thing about me being out of town was totally blown out of proportion. The reporter counted Christmas. The reporter counted Sundays. The reporter counted everything and said, oh, she wasn't available. And that's just, when I am out of town, I am in contact with the city all the time, constantly.
Yeah. You're talking about all the negativity that you get. And that comes with, I mean, when I was doing talk radio, and
Comes
that
with the
comes
job.
with the territory. I used to joke that I could say it's a nice day and get a nasty email from a guy that makes umbrellas.
Right.
Okay, so I
Right.
understand. I understand. When you put yourself in that position, though, that's the position you put yourself in.
Absolutely.
What about, though, recently married, your new husband, and just all of a sudden gets caught up in this sort of stuff? Your kids, the family members and those close to you. How do they handle all the negativity and all the attacks?
Well, my kids are used to it right now, and they know that it's going to happen. And I tell them not to worry about it, not to listen to it. And funny, like when I'm campaigning, if I get somebody being real negative at the door, and my kids used to walk with me sometime, and I would say, "Don't pay any attention. Let me handle it. This is my deal. I'll handle it. Has nothing to do with you, and don't take it personal." But I'm used to it by now. And I know people are going to say really mean, negative things, unfortunately. And you just got to kind of get it in and out of your mind. My kids are used to it. My husband, who now lives here, obviously with me, he is very supportive too. He'll say, just ignore it. Don't read that stuff. You're doing a great job, and you can tell yourself you're doing a good job, and you can't let that get under your skin.
When I went to LA in '93, and I was dating someone here, and I came back for a visit, and somebody walked up to the table and said, "Well, how come you're not saying hi to me?" And I went, "I don't know who you are." She goes, "You danced with me last week." And I said, "Really?" And I turned to the lady next to me. "Where was I last week?" She goes, "In Mexico with me." And just people want to say what they want to say. He was talking about people putting business cards in my pocket earlier.
They'll make things up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about Tranquility Park for a second. We still have time. There's been a lot of talk about Tranquility Park for a lot of years. There was a plan, I believe, to build like a swimming pools and that went to Sarpy County. All of a sudden, there's a press conference, and there you are. There's, hey, we got Tranquility Park all built. Walk me through the process of how it got from all the other talk to what you decided on.
It wasn't all of a sudden. We've been working on it a long time, just like we've been working on Crossroads a long time. Tranquility is 50 years old. And when I became mayor, I recognized, number one, that it needed an upgrade. I was the old soccer mom. My son played soccer from kindergarten through college, so I was out there a lot. But we first had to improve 120th Street north of Maple, because that street needed repair. So that was took a bit of time, and we got some federal money for that. So that always takes longer, but now that road is done. So we were then ready for the park. We had met with several other people that had ideas for the park. For instance, when they were talking about putting the swimming pool in there, that project just grew and grew and grew. And how they wanted to run that was more like a private club. And we didn't want to do that.
You wanted a public park.
It's a city park. We wanted to remain a city park. We didn't want anybody else running it for us. We wanted the city to run it and to be fair for everybody. And like I said, we have about 45,000 kids all over Omaha that play some sort of sports that could use that park. And if you talk about kids that are in the northeast part of our city that are don't have a lot of money, that can't go on these trips to Des Moines or elsewhere to play soccer in tournaments, we're going to have those tournaments here in Omaha now. So it will be open and available and used by everyone. And so we decided that since we were going to own it, we were going to run it, we had to get a design that we wanted. We started getting some interest in the molehill.
Is that between Maple and Fort?
Yeah, and they have a development portion of their business, and they're one of the sons, his name is Patrick Mulhall, is involved in that. And they thought, well, they could partner with us, and since their business, their nursery is right there, and build some hotels, not really expensive hotels, but hotels that people nice, clean, that would want to stay in, that if they were traveling with their kids for soccer.
That's a smart idea.
They wanted to do some mixed use retail. They're looking at some really cool, different kind of restaurants and stuff that would be attractive to those people that would have kids playing tournaments there. So it just worked. We were working with them. The partnership was great. We got the road done. We were working on design. We got something we thought was really great, and we're a go.
I just said something about smart idea. You as the mayor appoint a lot of people to boards.
Yes.
Someone asked me yesterday, how do you get on a board?
Oh, easy. You call us. No, there's about 50, I'd say 55 maybe, boards and commissions that I appoint. Everything from the Airport Authority to Mecca to Citizens with Disabilities. There are all sorts of different ones. And then some that I have created by executive order. And those that I created by executive order are those when I think that there might be a group of people in the community that feel like they don't have a voice. For example, I did create the LGBTQ plus advisory. I created a Native American advisory. I created a millennial advisory. Those three that I just named are very active. And so if you are interested, anybody that's listening to being on any of our boards and commissions, if you go to my webpage, my homepage, there's a little pull down that says boards and commissions. You pull it down, you'll see every one of them, who's on there now and basically what that does. And if you are interested, you call us and let us know, because we are always hunting for people to fill those boards. And another thing, we want those boards as diverse as we can get them. And I really watch that when we are appointing to the boards. I watch how I want it to be diverse, not just color your skin, but your age, your gender, all of those things we're looking at. So we encourage people to look at my webpage and look at those boards and commissions.
Speaking of commissions and stuff like that, Human Rights Commission, Gerald Kuhn, what happened there? He was there like 3 months.
Yes.
Is it a personnel thing? You can't talk about it or something?
Yes, it is.
Because it shook up a lot of people.
It did. And, we did a national search for the HRR director. Gerald was one of them. I interviewed several people that they broke down, until that I could interview the top 5. I thought Gerald, I've known him for a while. He was the assistant HR director. I thought he would be outstanding. Something happened, and it was, like I said, it was a personnel issue, and it just was not going to work out for him to remain in that position.
Okay.
You talked about the diversity that you bring and the diversity that you want.
Mm-hmm.
That tends to be different than what we're hearing from the leaders of your political party. They tend to want, like, there's too much diversity. There's too much. The Republican Party that you joined when you got into politics is not the Republican Party of today.
You will not replace this party. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll ask you point blank. Are you proud of being a Republican still?
I will first say yes, because I think, and everybody in Omaha knows me by now, and they know I run the city conservatively, what my principles are, the budget conservatively. I believe in lower taxes. I believe that people should have a voice. All of the tenets of the party I do believe in, and that's how I run the city. I said in the very beginning when I became mayor that I am the mayor for every person in Omaha. I don't care your political party, your gender, your sexual identity, your age. I represent all of you. And I will tell you honestly, the far, far right don't care for me.
Mm-hmm.
The far, far left don't care for me. But I am more of a moderate. Everybody knows that. And I think that that's why we have been so successful. I don't just listen to Republicans. I will tell you, I don't even know probably half the people in my office, and I have 19 people. I don't know half of their political parties. I don't ask.
Let me piggyback on that. About 4 years ago, State Senator John McAllister basically made international news when he slammed his party and said it was a party of racism. What was your reaction when that came down?
I don't think it's the party of racism. I don't think that was a fair comment to make. But I will tell you, both political parties have issues. And I would like both political parties to do what we want them to do. And that's to stand up and do what is right for the greater good. They got to get things done. And I think in my little town here, which isn't a little town, but our big city of Omaha here, my city council, it's not my city council, the city council, there were 4 Democrats and 3 Republicans. So the majority were Democrats. But I didn't say I wasn't going to work with them, and they didn't say they weren't going to work with me, because we needed each other to get things done for the
As
city
we
of
said
Omaha.
earlier about Ben Gray, you and Ben Gray had a great relationship.
We got along
together.
great.
Yeah.
Michael, you bring up something that is really a pet peeve of mine. Okay, when you talked about like what John McAllister said about the Republican Party, are there racists in the Republican Party? Yes. Are Republicans racist? No, not every Republican.
Right.
Look, are there bad cops? Yes. Are all cops bad? Far from it.
Right.
I mean, you go and people tend to generalize. It's no matter the political beliefs or whatever, people tend to generalize. You get 1 or 2 bad people in the group, and all of a sudden, everybody in that group is bad, right? And the reality is, life ain't like that. And we have to maybe get beyond that somewhat. So the point where, look, yeah, you're right. When Donald Trump goes and says, those tiki torch carrying guys, are good people. Well, no, I won't disagree with that all day long.
Right.
But then again, that doesn't mean that everybody that's in the Republican Party agrees with him on that.
Right.
Hey, I'm going to have to let her go here real quick. So a couple of quick things here.
One thing I wanted to just pop in. Omaha's a Democrat town now. There's about 24, I'd say, more thousand Democrat voters than Republican. And I won by an overwhelming majority on the last election, like 67%.
And Don Bacon won too.
And so I think that just shows that they don't look at me as being the far right Republican that will not even talk to a Democrat. I'm not that way.
All right. I got to get my personal thing in here.
Okay.
What's with the scooters?
Oh, I hear you love scooters.
Oh, you told me. I live downtown.
Right.
And they're on the sidewalks.
I know it.
They're going in the wrong direction on the sidewalks. You're driving further downtown, and there's a pack of them coming at you in the street like a motorcycle gang.
Right.
And I'm a senior. It's like, oh, what's going on?
I know it. You know what? And I made some notes on scooters because I knew you're going to ask about it. But I'm not even going to look it up because what I want to tell you is I'm not a fan of them either. I'm really not. But some people are. And as being the mayor, I want to offer any mode of transportation that I'm not a bike rider either.
It's being used.
Yeah.
But I knew that you were going to be here, and I actually went and looked at them close up last night outside my apartment building, and their instructions.
Yes. And that we changed. We added those instructions on there. But, for a while, there was numerous companies. Well, the first time we had them in Omaha, there were two companies, Spin and Lime.
And you only have one now.
Now we only have Lime, only one company. The agreement we have, they could bring as many scooters as they want into Omaha, and they can take them out when they want. Typically, they take them out like in October or November and bring them back in April or so because of our weather here. Nobody's using them. But like during the College World Series, they may bring more in. And how you use them is you got to download an app, and then you got to put your credit card in there. So when you use them, you have to pay to use it. And we just get a little money from the use. So it's not a thing that
I'm not worried
a lot
about
of money.
that. I just want police to enforce the rules that go with taking those things. If someone's coming up behind, I was at the Orpheum last week, and we're walking down the street, and two guys on scooters are right behind us going, on your left. I go, this isn't Captain America. Get out of my way.
No, because you know what? Part of the ordinance in the law is that they are not allowed on the sidewalks. They are only allowed in the streets, and they are not allowed in streets that the speed limit is over 35 miles per hour. So they violate that a lot. I know they do. I look out Farnham from my window at work. I see them zipping up and down the sidewalk all the time. And that's not where they're supposed to be. I saw two people on one last night by the ballpark, and I saw a woman with the highest heels I've ever seen on a scooter. I can't walk on a flat ground with those heels on, and she was on a scooter. But I think we will have them for a while. I had talked to other mayors right before we allowed them here. The mayor of San Diego, I was down there for the commissioning of the USS Omaha, and he's like, I hate these things because in the morning they're all laying all over the place in the parks. And part of the contract is Lime comes in and they put those back where they're supposed to be every single day. They know there's a GPS on them. They know where they all are. And so they're there for the people that like them. I'm not the biggest fan. In the beginning, there were some injuries too that really concerned me. The first day, one of the cops sent me an injury. It was down by Midtown Crossing of a young woman, and she had a compound fracture of her ankle.
Oh boy.
And he took a picture and showed me, and you could see the bones protruding through her skin. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not going to be good. But the people that like them use them. Final
question. Let's just say you call it quits after 3 terms, and the New York Times does a piece on Omaha. What would you like them to say about Omaha?
People ask me, like, what will your legacy be? And I always say history is going to determine my legacy. But what I would like them to say about Omaha is what I'm hearing from people from out of town with the College World Series, and that it's a big city with a small town feel. I hear these two things the most. I feel really safe here, and it's really clean. I really like that. And then they comment about the downtown area too. So terrific public-private partnerships, terrific growth in the urban core, terrific growth in the city all over. We are increasing in population instead of declining. There's a saying that's very true, that cities never stand still. They are either growing and moving forward, or they are declining and moving backwards. You can't just stay in the status quo. We want to keep on moving and going forward.
When I moved here in 82, 90th was west.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Boys Town was a
Right.
farm.
Right.
And now I came back here. I'm going, this is 6th. It's
Yeah.
all the way down here. And I used to teach at Fremont in Midland University, and I had to take that little 2-lane thing. I was
Yeah.
going, wow,
We're out to the Elkhorn River now. Yeah.
it just doesn't stop.
I know. Well, it will. I mean, there will be a certain time that western growth will stop because we won't have any more land to annex, and you can't annex across county lines. So what happens when you can't grow west? You grow up. And so that's why we're working on the urban core so much, to bring those people that want to live that urban life back downtown.
All right. Miss Mayor, I really appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure. It was fun.
Yeah, I even invited some of the other media to monitor this.
Like this one.
No.
I'm not meeting anymore. I'm a private citizen now. I'm a private citizen now.
Well, it's good to be with both of you.
We're going to be taking a hiatus here pretty soon.
Okay.
And I'd love to have you come back sometime in the
I'd love
future.
to.
Okay,
Yeah,
terrific.
there's lots to
Well, you
talk
talked about Nebraska medicine, because we didn't even deal with what they're
I
doing.
know, and I just met with Dr. Gold the other day, and that's an enormous project.
Oh,
And they are-
Leavenworth is a major project. I mean, gosh, it used to be a dump.
and now they're just buying up all that property.
Yeah.
They just are growing, and so's Creighton. I mean, Creighton's
Yeah.
growing too, and they're putting a lot of money into their campus, and a lot is going on with those two universities. We should be very happy that we have them here.
It's an exciting time to be in Omaha. Mayor, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back with the folks from the health department giving you. Whoa, welcome back to ER. We are going to do a little something here. I'm actually being tested for HIV. Okay. And with us, we have
the virus that can lead to AIDS.
with the man talking over here is Phil Rooney. He's been on the show before from the Douglas County Health Department. And the woman that's actually going to be doing the test is Alejandra Robledo. Did I roll that nice?
Yes.
Okay.
Robledo.
And Phil called me up a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, we're doing a thing on HIV. Would you be interested in being tested on the air? I went, sounds good to me.
You know, when you need a friend, Michael.
So what's going on? Are we,
This
we
is
getting more cases of HIV?
It's National HIV Testing Day. So we're having free testing today at the Walgreens of 60th and Northwest Radial Highway. We want people to be tested and know their status because HIV is no longer the death sentence it once was. And so if you get it, the earlier you're detected, the more things can be done to keep it from evolving into AIDS. And you can come close. You can actually live a very normal lifestyle when you get the proper medication.
Well, I saw Magic
counseling.
Johnson 2 weeks ago. The guy's been around for what, 20 years?
Yeah, at least.
At least.
Well, it's
Close enough,
interesting too because I mean, if you remember what it was like when AIDS first came out and the panic and everything, as opposed to now they're running commercials for, hey, I'm living a good life and I got HIV. Yeah,
I know those commercials freak me out, man.
Yeah.
And kids don't understand it when you go, I can't believe we're doing commercials on this.
Yeah.
They go, why is that so strange? I go, hey, we never even showed women in bras back in the 60s. You couldn't do a bra commercial with a woman wearing a bra.
Well, definitely with advanced medicine, there is a lot more care right now. So that's why it's important to test. So the person, in case they are discovered to be HIV positive, they can be referred to care so they can be connected and get all the treatment that they need.
It's no longer a death sentence.
It's no longer a
What,
death
what,
sentence.
what are some symptoms that somebody might think that maybe I should get tested? How do they know to even maybe get tested in the first place?
That is a great question.
Well, thank you. That's why I'm
Yes,
here.
that is a great question because I believe that's something that people believe that if you are sick or you are infected, you are going to start developing symptoms. With HIV, it can be confused with another infection actually, because persons can start having maybe like a flu-like symptoms, feeling really tired. But who doesn't feel tired these days? Who doesn't
Especially
have
at our
the,
age, yeah.
flu-like symptoms, like getting tired and all that? So, but if they know or they suspect they have been exposed to HIV, it's a good moment to test.
All right,
And
let's do this
also
because
do that every year as part of your healthcare.
And it's not just in the gay community, right? It's heterosexuals, yes.
Any person who is sexually active needs to be tested at least once a year as part of their healthcare. So talk to your doctor, talk to your provider about being tested.
remember in
Part of this is to normalize it and make sure people make it, as she says, part of their regular routine. And so people can find out early if they are infected. Because when they find out early, there's a lot more that can be done to help you.
You remember Dr. Jack Lewis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be a big deal around here. Back in the 90s, I got sick and went to him, and he kept asking me, he'd come in the room and go, have you ever had this? I go, no. And he'd come back in. By the third time I went, do I have AIDS? He goes, no, you don't have AIDS. I actually wound up getting a version of Legionnaire's disease.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's good that you test.
Oh, yeah.
And
In fact, they
this
had to
is-
run a scope down my throat in a procedure. Yeah.
So I'm gonna poke your finger now.
You go
And
right ahead.
This test, the one that we're doing right now in Benson and in the clinic at the Douglas County Health Department, is called INSTI, and it takes about 60 seconds to
Really?
know the results. So once you're gonna know the results right here, right away.
You know who's watching? My girlfriend.
Oh, I bet there are a lot of women watching.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I'm gonna poke your finger now.
Actually, it didn't hurt. It was more the noise that threw me than anything.
And I know it can be really scary sometimes. I'm gonna ask you to do this because I need to get some blood.
Now, is this a test? Could you buy this test at the pharmacy and do it at home?
Over the counter?
Oh, yeah. It's over the counter. Or is this something you got to
Well,
get?
this is something that usually medical offices and doctor providers have them. This is a clear wave test, meaning that only professionals who are trained to do it can do it.
Mhm.
However, if somebody is interested on getting tested for any STI or including HIV, We also have the STI at home testing program that they can request at the Douglas County Health Department website.
Does it normally take this long to get blood?
Well, you had a really, really low, small
Yeah.
drop, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to make.
You have to have a heart to be able to get blood. Yeah.
Well, you know, every time I go and they take a blood test, it takes like 3 or 4 tries. They even have gone in my finger
Mhm.
to get it because I just
Yes.
have very small veins.
And you know, when somebody is, you know, a little nervous, maybe
I'm not nervous.
that might, you can just press in there. The
I
flow
should have sent
actually
you that
comes.
Jeopardy music so we could use it.
So what I'm doing right now is just mixing your blood with a solution that is going to help us develop. So once I'm going to put it in the membrane,
Insane for the membrane.
so it's going to go in the membrane, and I never do this while people is watching, so potentially some people out there, right?
Yeah.
So this is 3 steps, and this is all the time it takes. So 1, we're going to see a dot, and that's what we explain to clients. You're going to see a dot, and that's the control. That means that the test was done correctly.
Mhm.
So once we put the developer, so that's the cleaning. So the developer is like, okay, this is the right when. If we see 2 dots, that means that it's positive.
So it's very similar to the COVID test.
Very similar, exactly,
far as the-
because it's detecting the antibodies. So and this is also detecting antibodies. So it takes a little time just to go down, and this is the time that we can start seeing maybe what is happening. So in the meantime, that's happening. We can clear. We can
You'll
clear.
know if I do have HIV when I faint and hit the floor.
So I can put up done.
Is this test at 60th and Northwest Radial? Is that free?
Yes, it's free HIV testing.
That's good to know.
Any person who is interested on getting tested for HIV, they
Any
can-
age limit? Like you got to be over 18?
Well, any person who is interested and is sexually active, like I said, they need to be tested.
Okay.
Yeah, who is at the risk of?
Are
is negative.
Oh, God, thank God.
Yes.
It's negative.
are certain demographics right now? Are you seeing a certain demographics that are
Susceptible
being
to
infected more so than others right now?
Well, definitely minorities are a demographic that is more vulnerable to getting infected, and a lot has to do with access to care, education, information, being tested after COVID. A lot of people lost their medication and their medical care and their insurance. So, and STI control office and the clinic where the staff was deployed to cover COVID-19 clinics, services, practices, right now also vaccinations. So a lot of people didn't receive that. So a lot of people, I mean, increasing numbers in the STI.
Terrific.
So
Yes.
he comes back negative, not HIV positive. That's a very good thing,
Yes.
and that's all done already. Right? That's
Yep,
it.
That's it. It's
Wow.
just as we were talking, that was something that we were able to do. So that's what we have. So right now, the staff for the STI control office and the staff that works daily with clients around Douglas County is testing right now, and they are doing an amazing job counseling people on when to test, what to test, if they have any concerns, any exposure about treatments. So they are doing an excellent job right now.
What time
Like
is the
every
testing
day.
at 60th open up?
It's starting right about now and
Okay.
goes until 7:00 this evening.
All right, terrific. Hey, thanks for making this happen, Phil.
Very happy to do
And
that. We
thanks
do
for-
get we still get around 45 cases a year of HIV. So
Yes.
it's important to get.
How many?
We get about
45.
we're averaging around 45 a year, 45 to 50 a year. We have we've had 24 this year, so it's about once a week we find somebody that has it. So it's not the death sentence it once was, but it is something that requires treatment and care.
All right.
You won't get that until you know you have
Phil
it.
Rooney from Douglas County Health Department and Alejandra Robledo.
Yes.
Yeah, babe. I got it. Thanks for helping us out here. I really
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
Thank
And
you.
are you going to be out at 60th?
I'm going to be there a little bit. I'm going to be around. As a supervisor, I need to be everywhere.
You got to hit all the
So
places.
I had to be helping around, but I'm happy to be around and just supporting the community.
And if people want to find out more information about this, I assume you got a website that'll tell you
Yes.
where all the location, hours, all that stuff, right?
Yes. So it's in our website, and they also, that's when they can find the STI at home testing program. Going to our website, there is a tab in there that exactly says STI is at home testing, so they can request. Our educators are amazing, honestly amazing, getting in contact with people, getting back to them, answering their questions, just educating and be there for them.
Ali, thanks for joining us.
Ali is
Yes.
the supervisor
Hey,
of our STI outreach.
Yeah.
We say STIs now because it is an infection. There are other diseases that are not communicable, such as cancer. Don't become infected with cancer. So this is just more accurate STIs.
Alrighty. Hey, Cam, how about we just end the show here? Make this the final break. Thanks to you folks for being here. Tom Becka,
It was fun. Thank you.
I appreciate you
Thank
coming on, man.
Yeah.
It's always a blast. And I want to thank the mayor. She did a great job.
That was very interesting. That was very interesting. Yeah. You can share this, right? Share this. Spread it out. People want to know what's going on in the city. The mayor, I think, was very honest about things.
You asked us some good questions.
And I think it was a good interview. And so share this online. Let people hear for themselves just sort of what's going on here, and also find out more about getting tested for HIV.
All right. In case you missed it earlier, we mentioned that we were going to be on a hiatus, the show. Right now, it looks like it could be 2 or 3 weeks. We'll keep you posted on social media. In fact, we may even be running a commercial on commercial TV real soon. So you'll see what's happening then. Want to thank, again, Tom Becka. Want to thank Cam, my man Cam, Broham, brother bro. And definitely want to thank Katie Rains.
Yeah.
For the last, we've been on now 12 shows. This is our 12th show, right? For 12 shows.
Cool.
And I want to thank Church Lady for her support in dealing with me.
All right.
Until next time, you take care of one another.
And use your farm. Stay on seed. I like to the seed. You got to have a feeling. Show your ball. Get it together. Right on that. Get up. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. Stay on seed. You don't know.